Good evening and welcome to the Furnace in Townsville for tonight's women's QBL matchup for round 4, the Townsville Flames versus the North Gold Coast Seahawks. My name's Mark Roble. I'll be joined in commentary tonight by the Super GM of Townsville Basketball, Greg Vanderjagt, also known for his famous work on the Long and the Short podcast.
Well, this is a little different for me. This is, you know, in the studio we get the opportunity to cut it up and cut out all the errors that we make and curses that we throw around. But look, it's exciting to be up here and really excited about this game. The Seahawks picked up a big win last week against the Phoenix, against obviously Nat Hurst and Abby Bishop. So look, really looking forward to seeing what they can put to the Flames tonight.
Look, a 7-point win for them last week, which probably a lot of people may not expected. You know, but with Hurst and Bishop in a team in the QBL, you know they're going to be tough. So the Seahawks did a good job defensively against them, and from what I understand, Lisa Burgess, you know, she's very big out there, and you know she's going to put up another hard body on Darcy Garvin tonight, I'd imagine. But she did a great job on Bishop last week.
Yeah, absolutely,
and really slowed her down.
Bishop with only 7 shots last week. You know, that's a hell of a defensive effort from the Seahawks, and Rob Sleaford does a terrific job with this group. He's, you know, maiden season in the QBL. They're 2-2 right now. Had a bit of a baptism of fire in round 1 when they had that Sunny Coast double. But since then, have really settled into the competition. So, first time real road trip, though, to North Queensland. It's a different story in the Furnace.
Yeah, look, coming up here and facing the Flames, who are obviously 2-0, sitting on top of the ladder. You know, we'd like to give a special shout-out for the Seahawks tonight for someone who'll be calling Townsville home in the summer months. You know, announced today, Casey Samuels signing with the JCU Townsville Fire. So, looking forward to seeing what she can put on the court tonight. And while she might have the crowd going against her this evening, hopefully she gets a good feel for what it's like playing basketball in Townsville.
Yeah, Samuels' numbers have been really good to open the season. She's been one of their leading contributors, on, you know, both from a point scoring perspective and also on the boards, and she's got the ability to facilitate. So look, she's a really tough cover for the Flames. She's got good size, obviously, to play at the WNBL level. You know, that's going to be an issue with the Flames with a really small backcourt with Cox, Goodchild, and Andrews. But you know, can the Seahawks go up and down with the Flames' tempo? You know, the first 2 weeks has been a real, you know, a real, I guess, testament to the way Mike St. Maurice has got this team drilled. The way they play in the first 8 seconds of shot clock is just incredible. You know, they're averaging over 100 points a game, which in the women's QBL is you know, that's huge. That's really hard to play with over 40 minutes.
And look, I had a quick chat with Coach Sleaford before the game, asked him how does he stop the running of the Flames, and he asked me if I had any ideas, and he asked you if you could put Glad Wrap on the rim.
He asked me for some Glad Wrap on the rim. I said, we'll put Glad Wrap on the rim if you sit down the big battle cruiser they've got in the middle. So you know, it might be a fair trade, but Darcy Garvin's certainly going to have a work cut out for her in the middle tonight. Different matchup than what she's probably seen. Dowdell looked lacked some conditioning, probably is a fair statement for Rockhampton last week, but you know, Big Lisa looks you know, primed and ready to go tonight.
And look, Rob talked about the fact that they can't get caught in a running game with the Flames tonight. You know, I should imagine on missed shots, made shots, you're going to see them flooding back and flooding the keyway and then trying to expand their defence out because they don't want to get caught in that running game with the Flames.
Yeah, and through the first, you know, 3 rounds of competition, the Seahawks have, you know, watching some film on them, they look to be a tag-up team, so they're sending 5 to the glass, which seems to be a real trend in Australian basketball right now, filtered down from our national team. So I don't think you can tag up against this Flame team, though. I think you're asking for trouble if you send a 5 to the glass, because you know they've still got Darcy Garvin, who's one of the leading rebounders in the league. Lisa Brennan, over a number of years, has proven that she's a quality rebounder, and you know their guards rebound the ball well. I think Michaela Cox averaging 9.5 boards a game. So.
Yeah, well, she's in the top 20 for rebounds for the league at the moment as well. So, you know, we've got the first place Flames versus the 8th place Seahawks at the moment. So, I know we're very early in the season, but quarter-final matchup this would be if it got to head towards the end of the season.
Look, I definitely think the Seahawks are going to be a playoff team. You know, they're well coached. Rob does a good job, as we said earlier. You know, when all's said and done, they'll get enough wins in the South. There's some bunnies down there that they'll get week in, week out. You know, get enough wins to be a playoff team in their first season, which is a huge achievement and something to build on for them.
And so the Flames obviously look to build off their first couple of weeks. They get back Alex Fowler, Hayley Andrews, Mila Goodchild tonight. So it's a scary thing that Rob said about that win against Rocky last week. You've got 3 kids off at Aussie camp. Absolutely, and they get re-injected back into this team. So.
And it's crazy to think that this Flames team hasn't actually been on the court all together before tonight. Darcy Garvin's been away all week at a cousin's wedding in Fiji, so the extra tan for Darcy tonight, it looks like. But this is the first time that we'll see the full complement of Flames players on the floor together, whether it's practice or games. So, we'll see how they click and, how Mike St. Maurice manages that deeper rotation than he's had in the first couple of rounds.
So we've got starting for the Flames, we've got Cox, Andrews, Goodchild, Brennan and Darcy Garvin out there. And
for the Seahawks, you've got Lauren Jansen, you've got Lisa Burgess, we've got Kayla Kirial, well, I'm sure we're going to stumble over that one all night, Robes, Emily Allen, and of course Casey Samuels.
And we've got the tip, and the Seahawks take first possession, and I know Coach St. Maurice won't be happy about how easy that first basket came out. And now we've got the Flames come down into their sort of horn set-up action. Kick out for three early for Brennan and a miss, and Samuels comes up with her first rebound and pushes it down the floor quickly.
But straight away on that first possession for the Flames, you see Darcy Garvin trying to attack Burgess from the elbow, which is, I think, going to be a pretty steady diet for the Flames tonight.
Yeah, you'd be surprised if they don't try and attack that. And Seahawks come away with the turnover there, and the Flames come back with the ball. So looking for some turnouts there, and Garvin for three, a little bit long. Wrestle over the board though, and the Flames still not on the scoreboard as yet.
Burgess is a handful down low for Garvin to get around all night. She's really working hard to try and get in front of that post. If Burgess can really occupy Darcy, it's going to limit the ability for Garvin to help and challenge shots at the rim for the Flames.
And Garvin taking that rebound and carrying down just to make sure Burgess doesn't get any risk. Cox baseline rip for their first score for the game.
This is probably the best I've seen Michaela Cox play in the QBL. She played a couple of games with the Flames in 2015, but over the first three rounds of the season this year, she has just been something else for this Flames lineup.
And we've gone down Kiriau for the Seahawks, and then straight back down the other end, Goodchild answers for the Flames. And we've got the scores locked at 4 apiece. Samuel's first real possession with the ball to attack, comes off the on ball, just a little long.
Flames be able to run now. Those long shots that lead to long rebounds. Goodchild on the break, gives it up to Cox.
Just rushes a little bit there, intimidated by Burgess over the top of her. The Seahawks come back the other way. Looking to slow the tempo a little bit here. Burgess got the touch up against Garvin, hand up, and misses the shot long.
Flames looking to push again. Always on the attack, the Flames exploring in trans. That Garvin-Cox side pick and roll.
Goodchild for three, just a little bit long. The Flames just looking a little bit out of touch at the moment, but Seahawks good contest on most shots so far.
Cox picks up her first foul on the drive from Lauren Jansen. Jansen will go to line for two.
Just a little bit lazy from Cox there. Just, feet got stuck a little bit, had a little bit of a swipe as she went by on the penetration. And so far, it looks like, the Seahawks' plan of trying to stop that transition. They've had good shots at the rim, which have slowed that transition game down. And then they've been able to get a good contested hand at most shots as well.
Absolutely. They look really comfortable here to start, sticking to their game plan. If they can make the Flames guard long clock and take good shots, they can take them out of trans.
So Samuels almost comes up with a steal there, but the rotation leaves Garvin open. She can't convert, and it's Seahawks ball again.
That's Garvin's third shot from the perimeter. I would, like her to see, try and get on the rim a couple of times, get a couple of easy ones, and then try and stretch the floor.
Another quick foul called there. That foul's on Hayley Andrews. They went to trap in the corner and just a little bit too aggressive, got their hands in.
And Kiriau with the ball at the top.
So they're running this first option shuffle set with the coming off the swinger on the weak side, and the shot's long. No reset. Box low, Curio looks to post up, Cox inside. Just a little too strong, and Garvin comes up with the board, and now the Flames are on the run. Cox attacking the rim hard. A little bit sloppy, but end up with the ball out of bounds. So you can see a perfect example there of what Sleaford talked about. You know, I think all 5 bodies were basically back in the keyway there and making Cox have to try and find somewhere on the outside.
Flames looking a little bit stagnant in the half court here. Although Brennan gets loose for a layup, ties it up at 6. Curio coming back the other way for the Seahawks.
Back to this shuffle set again.
We've got a third option now.
Yeah. Broken out a little bit. Jansen got a little bit stuck, kicked up to Curio. Shooter friendly roll, touches the glass and drops back in. Garvin on the attack towards the rim there, settles for the pull-up jumper and just misses again.
Good D from Burgess again. She's moved her feet well to start this game and keep Garvin in front. Once she's able to get that, you know, take contact through her hips and her chest and really stand Garvin up and stop that penetration.
Good passing by the Seahawks there, and probably got a little bit...
Brennan might have got away with one there.
Got the O-board though, another O-board.
A lot of extra possessions here for the Seahawks to start this game. I think the Flames have got to really tidy up the D glass, and just as we speak of that here, probably coming in is one of the best rebounding forwards in the country at the moment as a junior, Alex Fowler, just coming off another terrific Australian junior camp, I believe, Robes.
Yeah, she did a great job there last week and earned herself a spot back in the final selection camp. Just off the ball there, gets called for a foul, just a little bit aggressive with the screen. So just needs to moderate that aggression possibly a little bit, stepping into the game.
Amy Hanney now checking in for the Seahawks, her first action tonight off the bench. And checking out Lauren Jansen. Samuels isolated with Andrews on the wing and the ball screen with Burgess.
Good hard attack.
She's really versatile, Samuels. Big guard, able to get in the paint, finishes off the offensive rebound. Another extra possession for the Seahawks.
So the Flames look to pump the ball back into Fowler, quickly down the other end, kick out to Cox.
There we go.
3 ball for Cox.
3 ball for Cox.
And the Flames now trail by 1 halfway through the first quarter. So just for those stat watchers out there, you'll hear us referring to number 5 for the Seahawks as Hanney, while on the stats she'll come up as Durbridge. She recently married and just hasn't quite got all the accreditation through yet, so don't get confused.
Alex Fowler getting out on the break and picking up a cheeky 2. So Flames hit the lead for the first time tonight, 11-10, and we've got a timeout for the Seahawks. Rob Sleaford wants to talk it over with his troops.
Yeah, look, he's obviously, look, I would imagine very happy with the first 5 minutes, you know, or first, 3 or 4 minutes. That last couple of minutes, we've seen an open 3, finally a transition basket. Yeah. It's actually interesting. Fowler's come in, she's rim run fairly hard, and that seems to have opened up the game a little bit for the Flames. Yeah,
absolutely. They'll be trying to look, their depth is their strength. They've got, Magella Carey, we haven't seen her yet tonight. She'll come into the game. She's in great shape at the moment and played really well through the first 2 games. And younger sister Harriet went 8 for 9 for the 3 for last week for 23 points. Run for them, break that momentum, reset, get back to what was working in that first 6 minutes, and try and hold out this last 4 minutes and take the Flames out of transition.
Well, doing a bit of homework today, and we talk about the shooting percentages for the Flames team. So 6 players shooting over 50% from the field goal percentage. They've got 3 players shooting over 40% from the 3-point line. Whereas the Seahawks have got 1 player who's over 40% from the field goal and 1 player who's over 30% from the 3 points. So,
and that'll be a telling factor later in the game as well. As this thing wears on, when that depth that we speak about for the Flames really comes into play. Those big 3 from the Seahawks have got to have big games. As we see Samuels come up and hit another pull-up jumper off that side pick and roll with Burgess, I think the Flames might need to change up their coverage on that one.
Yeah, look, I know for the first couple of weeks they've been hard hedging on those on-balls. They look like they're in drops there, but Andrews chasing over the top on Samuels, as you'd imagine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Garvin just a little bit low on that drops there, but got free at the other end, picks up her first 2 of the game for Darcy Garvin on that switch from the Seahawks. They got a little bit lost there on that defensive rotation.
So Seahawks, just a good pressure from Andrews there, made the guard pick it up a little bit early and then just a bit sloppy, and they end up with a turnover there.
Checking in for the Seahawks, number 6, Ashley Zandy for the first time. She'll come in for QBL. Flames ball out on the side. Fowler kicking it into Cox. Cox gets the Flames into offense here. I like this action from the Flames where they get Cox on that flare side. Really brings Burgess away from the rim, but Cox picks up a charge on the drive. I thought she might have been inside the restricted circle, Mark.
Yeah, look, I'd like to see a replay on that one if possible, but call's made. We've got to get on with it. So that's Cox's second foul now. So Coach St. Maurice is going to need to make a decision here as to whether he rolls the troops through or trusts her a little bit.
What do you do in that situation, Mark? You've coached plenty of high-level basketball, and
big block by Fowler there.
Multiple titles in the QBL. Mark Roble, 07-08 state and national champion. Unfortunately, you weren't here when we raised some banners to the ceiling last week, but as we see Mike St. Maurice take her out, is that what Mark Roble would do?
Oh, look, 2 fouls first quarter. She's your stud. You need to make sure she doesn't get that third. They've got plenty of backup with people like Andrews there. Good sub. Look, good out-of-bounds play there. They find Burgess onto the rim for a good finish. So.
Seahawks back in the lead again, 13-14. Walsh and Fowler in the pick and roll. Good attack from Walsh. Nice extra pass from Goodchild to Andrews. Knocks down the 3. Haley Andrews has been a revelation for the Flames this year. With Rachel McCulley having her second child recently, and congratulations to Scully and Rach on the birth of Miles recently. But Haley Andrews has just stepped up and filled that void that left by Rachel from last year with aplomb. And she's another one of our junior athletes that just got back from the under-19s Australian camp, her first Oz camp, and look, just rewards for the hard work she's put in as a junior. And I think this is probably the best condition we've ever seen Haley Andrews as well.
Yeah, look, it's she was super nervous going down to camp last week, but from what I understand, talking with the 19s coaches, did a great job, and she'll be trying to get herself all ready for later in the year, heading off to college, the University of Portland. Yeah. Good attack there, rejected the on-ball when Seahawks adjusted too early, took the baseline there and drew the foul, so she'll send herself to the line here.
These are the kind of points that the Flames want to be able to get. You know, playing in that pace, you want to get free throws, you want to get layups, and then you want to get kick-out threes. So Andrews being able to get to the line in that first 8 to 10 seconds of shot clock is just so productive for the Flames, where they don't have to run long offense. You know, they can pick up a couple of easy points, get a chance to set their D, and now be disruptive in the full court against this Seahawks team.
That was the first foul called on the Seahawks, so you might see a little bit more attack from the Flames. That might have been the instruction from St. Maurice out of that timeout. So we've got Samuels pushing the ball back down towards the Flames end now.
I've really liked the look of Samuels so far, Mark, in the early going here. You can see why the Fire have signed her for this season, as she pulls up for the 3, but that's no good. Andrews is going to be on the push here. And this is where the Flames really get to teams in the last couple of minutes of quarters. They did it to Rockhampton last week, and they did it to Mackay in round 1. You know, just the conditioning of this group and the relentless persistence to push in trans really sees them take over games the last couple of minutes of quarters.
So we're down on short shot clock now. Andrews looking to come off the on-ball, pulls up for 2, misses, but Walsh comes up with the O board. And they'll have the opportunity to reset with Garvin looking to attack Burgess again. But look, she's moving really well for a big girl.
Walsh has a shot blocked over there by Samuels, and the Seahawks coming back at the Flames in transition.
So we've got a 4-point game here with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Seahawks playing this nice slower tempo that's playing for them really well at the moment.
Fowler doing a great job of fighting through those balls, screens away from the ball there, as we see Burgess. The up and under's no good, but she picks up a foul on the rebound. And Goodchild on the Flames will get to take it out.
So that's Burgess's first foul. And talking with Coach Sleaford, she's played in Romania before she's come here this year. And she's, I think, had a little bit of struggles adjusting in the first couple of weeks with the way the game's called. She said it's a lot rougher league over in Romania, Absolutely. So she's been called for some stuff that she's probably not used to.
And we see that with a lot of imports, don't we, Mark? Just the adjustment period to the Australian officiating. You know, it's different. That, you know, it's probably a little bit over officiated of everything, but you know, it's the style of game here, and you've just got to adjust to it.
We've got a Harry Carey in for the Flames now. for her first time on the floor. As we said, 7 of 8 from the three-point line last week.
And Flames are able to force an 8-second violation in the backcourt. Great D from Hayley Andrews after she turned it over to get it back for her team.
Well, it's been a constant we've seen from the Flames so far this year, that backcourt pressure. And now we see QBL coming back in for the Seahawks, with Hanny coming to the bench now.
Andrews gets it on the inbound. She'll get in a high ball screen with Garvin. Look for the Flames to really take advantage of Garvin in the post now with Burgess out of the game. Good ball movement for Harriet Carey. She's dried up this week, it seems.
O-board for foul. A kick out. Harriet Carey getting on the glass, doing it in other ways now, though. Now Fowler in the keyway. Kick out for Walsh. Three's off. Another possession for the Flames, though, with Garvin getting a hand on the ball. Very long defensive possession here for the Seahawks. Another O-board. And then a foul called. So there was probably about 40 seconds a D that the Seahawks had to play then.
I thought Hayley Andrews should be on the line right now on that drive. I think she probably got bumped. But great job by Alex Fowler to pick up that another extra possession for the Flames. They'll get a chance to take it out from the end. 31.5 seconds left in the first quarter. Flames up by 4.
You see turnouts off this out-of-bounds play with Harriet Carey putting the ball on the baseline.
Wild
a little bit ambitious.
Garvin gets it back.
Garvin with the O-board, and Seahawks will have last possession here.
Did you say ambitious on that shot, Robes?
Very ambitious.
Very ambitious.
Yeah, look, she's obviously got her confidence up from last week. We'll cut a little bit of slack there. Samuels on the attack, and nice finish off the glass.
Casey Samuels. Andrews. Oh.
Not far off on the buzzer there, and we see the Flames leading 20-16 at quarter time. So we've talked about tempo obviously already. This has probably been like I was missing last week, but from what I saw from the replay of the game and the Mackay game the week before, the Seahawks have definitely done a better job of slowing the Flames down so far. Yeah,
absolutely. They've done a credit to them. They've taken good shots. I'm not sure how many turnovers they've got, but you don't see the Flames generating those runouts. Only 3 turnovers in the first quarter for the Seahawks, which really helps them control that tempo, stop the Flames from running out, and being able to create those easy points in transition. And you know, we've seen so far the Flames have probably been a little bit clunky in the half court with their execution. They haven't been forced to execute by Mackay and Rockhampton in the first 2 weeks because it's just been a layup line for them.
And 7 O-boards for the Flames is something I'd imagine that Coach Sleaford's not real happy about right now. So he'll be trying to focus on that, making sure, particularly the last couple of minutes of that quarter there, the Flames just climbed all over the glass and kept on coming up with extra possession. That's going to wear these guys out. You know, they're on a double header. And coming into this weekend, you know, the mindset probably starts to think, well, do we, if we're out of the contest to get the Flames, do we pull players back? Do we throw everything at Cairns? Probably not the ideal situation for them. I think they'd probably prefer to go the other way and throw everything at Cairns first up.
Yeah, and with these double-header road trips, you've got to try and get the first one.
Yep.
The Northern Nightmare road trip where you fly into Townsville, you play Townsville on a Friday night, you jump on a bus Saturday morning. It's probably going to be 5 or 6 hours to Cairns tomorrow. And you've got to try and front up and play the Dolphins tomorrow night, who have just added another import, so they've added some size to their front court up in Cairns. So you've always, whenever you go on the road, try and get the first one. Throw everything at the first one. If you drop the first one, the second one just becomes that much harder. Tired bodies, add travel, you know, going into a hostile environment in Cairns where they're looking to get their season back on track after a really rocky start for them.
It'll be interesting to see what happens in Cairns over the next couple of weeks. Kayla George released
has become available, I hear.
Released from Connecticut in the WNBA, so whether she makes her way back to Cairns and, you know, forces them to make a change and release one of their imports, but we'll see how that plays out over the next few weeks.
Do they tell the new one they've just signed to not bother getting on the plane?
That's a little harsh. I'm sure the agent would have something to say about that, but yeah.
Burgess down low against Fowler. Fowler does a great job of walling up, but can't stop the 2 from Burgess, who drops it in, cuts it to a 2-point game. But here come the Flames again through Brennan. Fowler, deep catch.
Draws the foul, a little reach in there. Not sure if that's on Bridget O'Brien or no, it's on Burgess, so that'll be her second foul, I believe. So Sleaford will need to make a decision sometime soon as to how he plays out this.
Looks like the Seahawks have dropped into a little bit of a zone here. Really maybe protect that third foul of Burgess and see how they can disrupt the Flames.
A little 3-2 zone and then a little bit of matchup. And
I'm not sure what that is, Robes. They've got people all over the place, and Andrews gets in the paint and finishes with 2, and will go to the line for the bonus as well. Curio picks up the foul.
I know when I spoke with Sleaford before the game, he had talked about they'd run a little bit of 1-3-1, so that might have been that, just with some distortion on the matchups there. So we'll see if they continue with that through the next couple of minutes or so. We've got a substitution here for the Seahawks with George coming in and also Jansen coming back into the game.
Grace George, another one of a talented crop of young Queensland female athletes. She's been to multiple Australian junior camps this year. I believe George is an Ipswich junior, if I'm led to believe.
Yeah, she is. And look, she'd probably be a little bit disappointed she wasn't in Canberra herself last week.
Absolutely.
Missed the under-20s for Queensland this year, and whether that played a factor in her not making that squad or not. So Seahawks continuing to work off this wing on ball and turn out. George with a nice little right-hand floater back through the lane, and they've trimmed it to 3 points. Yeah, definitely looking like this 1-3-1 zone, and they're just twisting a little bit, trying to find shooters. Cox ends up open on the wing and knocks down the 3 ball.
That's probably not the person you want to leave open from the 3, Michaela Cox. Shot with her during the week, and it's just so easy. Yeah. Just so easy to rebound from Michaela Cox. She just spent 45 minutes taking the ball out of the net and throwing it back. And she is the hardest worker probably in the QBL, Michaela Cox. She's just, her motor is incredible. Just never gets tired. Day in, day out. She's constantly in the gym trying to get better.
Garbin for 3. And this thing's just starting a little stretch a little bit. We're out to 9 points, back-to-back 3s for the Flames after another missed possession for the Seahawks here. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a timeout coming pretty soon for Seahawks. Find Jansen under the basket and a foul there.
Cox picking up her 3rd down there?
Yes, it would be. So you'd imagine St. Maurice responding pretty quickly, and Goodchild coming back in, and Harriet Carey coming back in for Fowler here as well. So Cox is going to have to cool her jets, I'd say, for the next 8 minutes, sitting on the sideline, which she will hate, let me tell you.
She'll be fresh for the second half, though. Come back to the track meet for the Flames in the second half.
Mate, knowing Michaela Cox, she's probably asking the coach right now if she can just go and run around the block while she's waiting to come back into the game.
There's 4 more courts out the back. She might go and get 500 threes up in the next 8 minutes.
Just an insane competitor and athlete, Michaela. So we see Samuels come to the bench. I think that's her first rest for the game.
Absolutely, yeah. She's played the first 12 minutes straight. So opportune time for Sleaford to get her some rest with Cox out of the game as well. As we see Garbin with the long 2 on the baseline. Goodchild gets a hand on a lot of rebounds, but Curio comes up with that one as Garbin picks up a foul with the hip and shoulder in the backcourt on Burgess there.
Little body check. I think she sort of got caught trying to get underneath, get to where the ball was, and obviously didn't work out the right way for her. But that's her first foul. So
as Burgess and Garbin get a bit of a talking to from Kylie Voverden.
Well, look, I'm not really sure that's required right now. Do you agree? Like,
I didn't see him wrestling on the floor. I'm not sure they need a talking to just yet.
Yeah, look, I know we're a little bit elevated, a little bit away, so we can't hear exactly what's going on out there, but a little surprised by that interaction.
Curio, the ball out high. Great George in the ball screen.
So reverse through Sleaford, and then we've got that low post matchup going, starting to bang against each other again. Good ball movement. I like the way that that Burgess passes the ball as well.
As she picks up her 3rd foul there on Andrews on the break. I'm sure Andrews might have rather the 2, but that 3rd foul on Burgess is going to be crucial for the Seahawks here. Flames will get to take it out on the side and reset their offense. As we see Bridget O'Brien check back into the game for the Seahawks. Burgess will have to sit down. She can go get some jumpers with Cox on court 2.
Was there actually anyone behind the ball there on that foul, Greg?
No, I believe there wasn't. There wasn't. So it should be a clear path foul. Yeah. And Andrews should be on the line here, shooting a couple of free throws, and then it should be Flames ball. If for
yep. So we get the St. Mary's called Voverton over, and obviously asked a question, and they've corrected that call. So Andrews will go to the foul line here for the 2, and then the possession back at halfway.
And Sleaford isn't happy about it, but not much you can do to argue with that one. Great awareness by Mike St. Maurice there to pick up an extra possession and a couple of free ones for his team.
And look, I've got to say, quite often the referees will just disregard that comment, so give some props to them as well to have that chat, come together, clarify with each other, and then go back and make the correct call.
And I think Mike does a really, really good job, and credit to him, of picking and choosing his time when he actually communicates with the referees as well. He's not one of those coaches who rides them the whole game. He really, when he's got a point to make, he makes his point. And, you know, I think that he gets that respect as we see
Harriet
Carey with the heat check after the, what do we call it? The ambitious layup in the first half, and she knocks that down for her first points tonight.
Good to see it didn't ruin her confidence, and she's come out here just ready to get them up again.
See Jansen now put one up from the perimeter. Knocks it down too, right in the face of Carey. Good comeback from the Seahawks there. Although I'm not sure that's kind of quite the shot they're going to want over the course of 40 minutes, those quick threes in the first 10 to 12 seconds of clock.
So both teams doing some good work off the on-ball there. Brennan just
throws it away.
Rushed the pass a little bit.
Curio coming back for the Seahawks. Finds Bridget O'Brien from deep. No good. Good child. Good rebound. She'll push it. Jansen gets a piece of it in transition, though. Flames will have to bring it up and run some offense again. And O'Brien's got her hands full down there, down low with Garvin. I'd really like the Flames to get to the low block right now. Try and get some Garvin, some easy ones. As we see Brennan pick up an offensive foul, I believe, as Grace George just ran through her.
It's a call of the night at the moment is the screening foul. I think the Flames, that's probably 3 or 4 fouls they've had called on them off screens off the ball.
And Brennan looks mystified about that one. I'm not sure how Grace George can actually run through Lisa Brennan.
Yeah, look.
We'll move on.
We will move on, yeah. I'm a little bit, so Samuel's back into the game for the Seahawks now and straight back up on the ball now. Looking to attack Andrews, and look, good little slip past George, just a little slow to react, which caused a turnover.
I'm really excited to see Samuels in the fire group next year, Mark. I think she can really add something to your group. She's the kind of player I think that fits well and lends herself well, being versatile, being able to fit with that in the system with the fire run. Similar players that have been successful in the past. As Andrews knocks down another 3 for the Flames, they jump out to an 11-point lead.
So the Seahawks are just struggling a little bit with that flare screen action when the Flames aren't called for an offensive foul on the screen.
Garvin with the steal on the back cut. Seahawks have run that back cut a couple of times and got layups, but here comes Andrews in trans, turnover again.
Getting after the ball here, and we'll see a jump ball, and possession will sit with the Seahawks here when they come back out.
Flames up to 6 turnovers. That's probably a little bit too much for Mike St. Maurice right now through 1.5 quarters of basketball. And, you know, Hayley Andrews has had a couple of loose ones in transition. I'd just like to see her value the ball a little bit more. You know, really try and get 2 feet in the paint on the dribble rather than that 50-50 pass into traffic where, you know, you turn it into a jumping contest between Casey Samuels and Mila Goodchild, and, you know, Goodchild probably doesn't win that too many days of the week.
Well, look, we had a great angle of that, you know, straight over her shoulder, and she obviously saw Harriet Carey and Mila Goodchild both coming through from that weak side. One of the Seahawks players, not sure who it was, just got that tiny piece on the ball, and that's all it took. You know, I agree, you know, Andrews probably just needs to continue to push hard on the floor there, draw the D, and then make the late pass. So we've got the second time out here for Sleaford, so this will be it for them for the first half. So they're down 11 with 5 minutes 30 to go, so could be make or break here a little bit over this next 5 minutes for the Seahawks. If they don't get a good 5 minutes here, without the opportunity to stop any runs, the Flames could put a big gap in here.
Absolutely. No Burgess to come back in the game. You wouldn't imagine that Sleaford rolls the dice on her in these next 5 minutes. She's got those 3 fouls, so she's going to be married to the bench. You know, if the Flames can keep generating these extra possessions they're getting, you know, up to 7 offensive rebounds for the game, you know, just that mountain of possession is just going to wear down the Seahawks team.
And the Flames up in some full court pressure just to make sure the Seahawks know they're going to have to work hard here.
Nice rotation from Ainsley Walsh, doing a great job in the full court there.
Now they scramble back into a man here out of that extended pressure. Good communication. Oh, Walsh gets lost a little bit on that turnout.
Jansen on the drive. No good. Garvin will pick up the board, and the Flames can get out and run with Andrews.
So Andrews one-on-one against Samuels here.
And that'll be a foul. She'll go to the line. Great push from Haley. We see the difference when she can get 2 feet in the paint on the drive. You know, getting to the free throw line, that first 8 seconds of clock and that pace phase of offense, really rewarding for the Flames.
Oh, look, that's Samuel's first foul, probably a smart foul.
Absolutely.
Let's not give up that 2 points. Let's make him think about it from the foul line.
Stephanie Newbold, I believe, into the game for the first time for the Seahawks tonight, taking the place of Lauren Jansen as Andrews at the line for the first of 2.
And Andrews finding herself here for the her 6th and 7th free throws of the night. So good output from attacking the rim fairly early for her.
Absolutely, and she's an 85% plus foul shooter on the season as well. So the more she gets there, you know, easy points for Haley to get herself going from the line. So Garvin just doesn't respect that jumper.
High post catch there, and Harney hits it in her face. So she might have to respect it coming down the next time.
The Flames going straight back to Garvin in the post, outside to Carey for 3 on the miss. Harney picking up the board. Now we've got a tied ball. It'll be Flames getting it back on the possession arrow. And
Cox coming back into the game here for this 4 minutes. So I think St. Maurice has taken the attitude of let's try and stick a dagger in here over these 4 minutes. So she'll need to be careful, obviously, not to pick up that soft foul. Good inbound touch pass. Garvin just a little bit soft on the finish there. Now we see Samuels bring the ball up with Cox guarding her. You could imagine that Samuels might try and get Cox down into the block here at some stage if they stay with that matchup.
Harney again with another jumper. Short on that one though. Garvin picks up her rebound. That'll be her 6th of the game.
And Cox waving Carey through here. 3 for Garvin from the top, just rims out, and Brennan comes up with the O board again though and leaves Cox open for 3. And you don't want to do that on a kick out.
That's twice now the Seahawks have lost Michaela Cox on those kick out 3s, and she'll make you pay every day of the week if you leave her open like that. Garvin, sneaky reach around, kicks it ahead to Walsh, and she'll lay it up with the left hand for 2. Flames have jumped out now to a 15-point lead, 42-27, with just over 3 minutes left in the half.
And they're just turning the pressure up here a little bit, turning the screws, continuing in the full court. Their half-court D intensity's lifted a little bit here as well. As we see Samuels looking for an answer down the other end, triple teamed on that penetration.
Quick jumper.
Little tip. Samuels comes up with the ball though. We're on a 10-second clock now for the Seahawks.
Samuels, nice little hesitation. Threw one up and appeared to get fouled, but Harney comes up with another possession for the Seahawks. Bridget O'Brien for the deep 3. No good. Good rebound, Harriet Carey. And it'll stay here with the Seahawks as she loses out of bounds. And back into the game for the Flames. Magella Carey seeing her first action tonight. Alex Fowler checking in. Harriet Carey and Darcy Garvin have a seat.
They're trying to get their matchups right here. Quickly the Flames. Long pass inbound to O'Brien.
Quick turnaround against Fowler in the post. Another possession for the Seahawks. Harney can't convert on the jumper. Flames have got to secure this ball, and that'll stay with the Seahawks on the tie-up here.
And St. Maurice, I'm sure he's not happy right now about these O boards, but he probably doesn't want to call the timeout and spray his players to give the Seahawks an ability to chat themselves.
Doesn't want to give the Seahawks a chance to reset. Seahawks up to 8 offensive boards here in this first half. Really helping them hang around against the Flames. As we see a 5-second call against Bridget O'Brien. Her teammates just not being able to get open against this Flames defense.
They're just a little bit sloppy on the out of bounds there. A couple of Seahawks players running into each other, which caused that delay. And now you see the Flames coming down with 2 minutes 30 to go, leading by 15.
Walsh resets it to Carey. Turnover, though, for the Flames.
Poor pass at the feet there, and Carey just fumbles it a little bit, leading to the turnover, and the Seahawks come back. Samuels short on the 3.
Good rebound by Cox there, scrapping for that loose ball. Gives the Flames a chance to run. Head to Walsh. She'll attack. There's another foul and go to line for 2. Picking that one up for the Seahawks. Number 11, Bridget O'Brien. That's her first personal as Walsh. Ainsley Walsh heads to the line for 2. Ainsley Walsh, another WNBL champion with the JCU Townsville Fire. Ainsley 2 championships with the Fire? Ropes?
I think she did get, no, just the one, I think.
Just the one as development player. Was that 2016?
What year are we now? Yes. Yeah, it would have been 2016 season.
Mate, you're not that old. You can't remember what year it is.
26 season with the win over Perth in the final series. So, you know, she's taken that break away from that professional side to concentrate on medical studies now.
In her final year, I believe, with medical studies. So, soon to be Dr. Ainsley Walsh.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice back cut from Harney there on that. Seahawks have caught the Flames a bunch of times on that 3-a-side action where they get that back cut. Flames just getting a little bit lazy on the denial defense on the wings there.
Unfortunately, just didn't quite get her footwork right there, which led to the turnover. We'll see the Flames coming off their flare action again for Walsh here. Looking at the 3 and turning it down. Then Cox coming back, kick back for Walsh. Good D by Samuels just to contain. Flames running low on the clock now. Brennan just muscles her way through, but steps on the baseline.
The Flames spacing was just a little bit congested there in that half-court set. You've got Fowler, Carey, and Brennan out there. Probably 3 not recognised 3-point shooters, and you know Cox the only really knockdown 3-point shooter. And the spacing just got congested. Really need to get back to that 4-out spacing with one of their bigs working in the dead low down there. As Samuels on the drive misses another one, but Harney is on the boards again. She's done such a great job of winning possession for this Seahawks team.
And another jump ball here with Flames coming out with possession. So we've got 1:19 to go with the Flames up 44-27 in the first half. Flames off the on ball with Brennan in the 3 spot now. Kicks to Cox. Just a little long on the shot. Kick out and Carey from the short corner makes it. Now we see Samuels coming down with the ball, calling 5 out, I presume, with the open hand for the Seahawks, and they're looking to get on penetration here with George on Brennan and pick up the foul.
Good D from Lisa Brennan there, moving her feet and staying in front, really leveled off George on that drive and picks up the foul. Seemed to drop that arm late on that contest. See Darcy Garvin checking back in the game for this last 50 seconds as Brennan checks out.
Interesting lineup here for the Flames, and we've seen this a little bit from St. Maurice in the first couple of weeks, where he's had 3 bigs as such out there on the floor. So you'd imagine that Garvin's going to play the 3 spot here, or float towards the perimeter.
It's funny, Mike and I talked a lot about potential lineups when we recruited this team and put it all together. You know, and the discussion we always come back to is what are we going to do with the 3 spot? Well, you know, Mike, what do you want to do with the 3 spot?
And Cox,
Michaela Cox,
3.
That's a pretty good solution, is have Michaela Cox play the 3. But you know, the 3 spot was always kind of a problem position for the Flames, and you know, Mike's done a great job of solving that with a combination of Lisa Brennan, Ainsley Walsh, Miller Goodchild, who we recruited late, and now you see probably Alex Fowler or Darcy Garvin in that 3. So you know, he's got such a versatile group where he can roll out a few different lineups and combinations and change things up for opposition teams. And you know, it's so hard to plan for when he's got a versatile lineup like this. We see Fowler now heads to the corner in that 3 spot with Carey and Garvin in this Horns action with Cox.
Last possession here for Cox coming off the on ball. Gets around the corner, turns and just makes an easy left-hand layup. Seahawks won't be happy with that, and now we jump to half-time and the Flames have suddenly exploded out to a 23-point lead. Leading at half-time, 51-28, and that great job the Seahawks did defensively throughout the earlier part of the game. Probably just let themselves down a little bit there. 20 points they held the Flames to in the first quarter.
Gave up 29 there, 29-12 in that second
31 quarter. It'll tick up to here once the stats reset, because you know, that's just, you know, you can't stay in a game if you allow the Flames to score that easily and score that many points.
No, and once again, the Flames get back on track for that 100 they're averaging. You know, if the Flames can continue to score at this rate, it could be a really long night at the office for the Seahawks team.
All right, we're going to take a break, guys, from the stadium, and we'll be back with probably in about 10 minutes with a few minutes to go before the second half. Greg and I will try and grab the coaches off court and see what their thoughts are coming back into the half, and we'll catch up with you shortly. Welcome back to the Furnace, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Mark Roble, and I'm joined tonight, Greg Vanderjagt. We're just coming out of the halftime break in the Flames game with the Flames leading the Seahawks 51-28. Now, I know Mike St. Maurice a little bit late coming out of the change room, so unfortunately, Greg, you weren't able to get any information out of him. I had a quick chat with Coach Sleaford, though, and look, he was obviously really happy with their first quarter, happy with everything they were doing, their urgency they were playing with, chasing over screens, doing all the things they need to do, and then they had about a 2-minute bad patch. Flames turned up the pressure.
That's all it takes with this Flames team. You know, they're able to generate points in bunches, and they've blown that thing out. 31-12 second quarter for the Flames, and now they're staring down the barrel of a 23-point deficit coming into the third quarter here. Hayley Andrews has really been solid for the Flames. She's up to 13 points, and Michaela Cox up to 16, despite the 3 fouls for Cox as well. 16
points on 4 of 4 from the 3-point line. So, you know, you can accumulate pretty quickly when you're doing that stuff. And you know, you look at the numbers across, rebounds relatively even. The Flames 10-0 boards, Seahawks 11-0 boards. You know, turnovers a little bit the way of the Seahawks. You know, they've had 12 to the Flames 9. So, but shot opportunities are pretty even, 36 shots as opposed to 37. So the game could be relatively even. It's just been the high percentages, which we talked about. You know, the Flames shooting at 48.6%, whereas the Seahawks down at 30.6%.
And that's something we talked about in the first quarter. What was it, the stat, Mark? Was it 6 players shooting above 50% for the Flames and only 1 for the Seahawks?
Yeah, well, only 1 above 40% for the Seahawks.
Yeah, that's shown through here. You know, they're studs in Casey Samuels and Lisa Burgess. You know, combined, what are they? 5 of 16 from the field from their 2 best players. You know, Samuels has been really creative in that side pick and roll, you know, getting to the elbows and things like that, but the Flames have forced her into 3 for 11 shooting. So on the flip side, I think the Seahawks have done a really credible job with Darcy Garvin. She's just 3 of 10 for the field with 7 points and 6 boards. And Darcy's clearly been the best front court player in the QBL through the first 3 weeks. You know, she's just dominated Mackay and Rockhampton at home over the last 2 weeks. So, you know, Seahawks doing a good job with Garvin, but Andrews and Cox have just lit them up from all over the floor.
So we'll see Seahawks with first possession here. And look, the message was simple from Coach Sleaford. Play harder, work harder, and we can get ourselves back into this game. If not, then it'll be interesting to see how long it takes before some of those cues start going in the rack and thinking about Cairns.
Absolutely. Think about Cairns tomorrow night, and how do we come away with a split from the Northern Nightmare? Samuels back into that ball screen again with Burgess as she rolls down the lane. Good rotation there from Lisa Brennan, stepping up. Shane Froling spent last week calling her Alison Brennan. As we see Andrews back on the rim again.
Yeah, look, knowing that she could attack Burgess there with those fouls of Burgess, she just played hands up. Smart play.
Something that Andrews has really developed is her ability to finish with either hand in the paint. As a junior, she was very right-hand dominant. She's worked hard in being able to create with either hand. As we see Garvin here, may rise up and misses a layup though. Burgess hustling back. It'll stay with the Flames. Good
challenge there by Samuels, rushing back, forcing Garvin to miss that shot. Talking to Darcy Garvin about Samuels signing with the Fire before the game, and it's interesting that she said to me that back in the AIS days, herself, Samuels and Michaela Donnelly were roommates back at the AIS.
Oh dear, that's trouble.
So it's a reunion back at the Fire next year.
Isn't basketball such a small world? You get those opportunities to play with people as a junior and come back together at the senior level.
So Cox tried to exploit the hard closeout there with the 1 dribble, just a little bit offline. The Seahawks come back the other way. Good one-on-one matchup in the paint.
Nice finish from Burgess. Good seal down low against the smaller Garvin as she goes up for 2. She's up to 6 points now.
Flames straight back on the push down the other way. Good child. Just a little bit off tonight. She hasn't probably had her same effectiveness as she normally would, but she's got after the loose balls, got after those deflections, but just lacked some touch in around the rim in the first half.
The thing I like about Miller is she can influence the game in so many ways. We talked about in the first half, you know, getting a hand on some loose balls. She always does a really solid job defensively. You know, she's off to Duke University, which is just an incredible achievement for a young Australian player.
Good extra pass. Cox open in the corner.
No good.
Doesn't make them pay. Yeah, look, amazing opportunity for Mila off the Duke. You know, like there's those certain schools that are just iconic with basketball, Duke being one of them, and you know, Mila's going to have, you know, lived the dream of a lot of players going to that college.
Absolutely, and she's doing everything right to be ready to go and play as a freshman, as well as we see Lauren Jansen get free on the baseline on the nice give from Samuels, but Flames, and this is what they do.
Oh, missed the layup by Andrews there. She'll be dirty on that.
But it'll stay with the Flames. Samuels couldn't save it. But you see, that's a made bucket, Robes. You know, being able to take it out of the net, inbound to Cox, and the extra pass to Andrews, and she on the rim. You know, the ball doesn't hit the floor. It's just, it's really pretty to watch and a fun way to play. And I know our fans here enjoy it as well.
So Goodchild off the high on ball there and gets her finish this time on the left-hand layup. So the Seahawks just getting caught up a little bit on that on ball. Andrews deflection, and it's Seahawks ball out of bounds. And the Flames certainly have not turned down that pressure that they had in the second quarter right now. Samuels comes off the inbound.
Nice crossover with the step back there.
Step back for long two, a little long. More intensity with the Flames. Had the ball pinned to the sideline there and forced the ball out. So Seahawks ball here with 11 seconds to go on the shot clock.
Good job by Goodchild there defensively on Kiriard to disrupt that. Seahawks down to 4 on the shot clock as Samuels is forced into a long contested three. Burgess doing a great job down low. And she's caught Garvin with an elbow on the spin as she puts it back in. Garvin goes down, a little bit worse for wear, but she's able to get back up and keep playing. Nice job by Burgess down low there to get that extra possession and the finish for the Seahawks.
Look, she's a strong player. Steal there by Samuels, loose pass by Cox, but no support, or support comes late and she finds the right option. Unfortunately, Seahawks just can't convert. And now they've got this slowed down again. Garvin trying to establish position in the paint and getting chest bumped the whole way. Right in front of the referee. Reaching and Garvin a little bit frustrated there and picks up the frustration foul.
That'll be Garvin's second personal. She's caught one in the ribs from Burgess at one end. She's got walked down the court by Jansen with a couple of body checks and come up with the turnover into the frustration fouls. You see Alex Fowler check back in for the Flames, in for Lisa Brennan, who'll take a seat.
Seahawks double teamed on the inbound here and end up with an over and back violation. Just turned up that pressure, good pressure from Cox on the kick in. And Emily Allen just miscalculating where she was on the floor, ended up going backcourt.
And it's funny, every time Alex Fowler checks into the game, the Flames generate a turnover on her first possession. Does a really good job moving her feet, disrupting it in the full court. Garvin isolated on the elbow. Nice step through move up and under, no good, but Fowler all over the glass.
Doesn't come up with it, and the Seahawks come back with the ball, and they've steadied the flow here, still at 21. So both teams just sort of ticking through the motions without either really making a strong move here at the start of this quarter. They've actually got the Seahawks up 6-4 in this quarter. They find the open three in the corner.
And that was actually a long two. Had a tie on the line. Vovo caught it a three. The Flames coming back in that two dribble offense. Good shot on the rim for a layup. And that's where she's at her best for the Flames.
So frustrating as a coach. You see that three go down at the other end. Then before you even get your chance to set up, the Flames have got the layup back at them. So attack by Jansen there. Fowler does a great job staying in front of her. Kick out. Two's off. Kiriau on the O boards though. A little scrappy underneath, and it'll end up being Seahawks ball on the baseline. And we see Burgess coming to the bench now, and Grace Varco entering the game.
Varco's first action tonight in the second half.
And Walsh coming in for Goodchild here.
Goodchild just missed a couple of box out in the last couple of possessions. Mike St. Maurice doesn't look that happy with it. I'm sure it'll be a quick spell though. We'll see her again shortly.
Samuels off the on ball, hits the three. Contested hand, but you know she's trying to drag her team out of this hole right now. They've got it back to 17. Flames run a little bit of the flow action here. Fowler has the body pinned on Samuels and Garvin just a little loose on her penetration. Cox for the three.
Ooh.
She was nothing but net in the first half, but that was nothing but air that time.
We might see a timeout here for the Flames. First one tonight from Mike St. Maurice. As you said, Mark, Seahawks have done a really credible job to cut this back to 17, win an extra possession. Samuel's knocking down a couple of shots. Burgess has been strong inside in this third quarter, so really positive signs for the Seahawks team.
Yeah, look, it's they've come out and they're playing like they were in the first quarter. You know,
yeah.
they didn't take a backward step in that first quarter. They slowed down. You know, like the Flames have had a couple of scores in transition, which I'm sure Sleaford's not happy about, and this is a great opportunity for him to talk to his team about that. But you know, he'd have to be pretty happy with that first 5 minutes. You know, back to 17. They can get it back to somewhere near single digits at three-quarter time. They're right back in the game.
End of this quarter, and then, you know, if they've got enough legs to stay with this Flames team, they can really make a fist of it in the fourth.
Yeah. So we'll see what option St. Maurice comes out with here. So he's obviously called a timeout. I'm sure it's to talk about box outs, it's to talk about open looks. You know, just probably talk a little bit about urgency and hoping that they come out of this funk that they came out from half-time with.
The Seahawks up to 17 offensive rebounds. That's an incredible amount of possession. And that's why they've been able to stay in this game. You know, be able to chip away at it, get it from, I think it got out to 26 at one point early in this third quarter. They've got it back to 17, but it's just the volume of possession for them. Flames also up to 11 turnovers.
So double team at a halfway line there, and they're in a half-court trap. Get back into a matchup there, and Fowler finds herself up on the point guard spot. Seahawks a little disorganised. One dribble pickup's never good. And then Bridget O'Brien gets called for the hook. Cox right up into her on the wing, and she threw that arm around, and Vovinen calls that foul straight away. So we'll see what the Flames have got here executing out of this.
Back to that flare screen action where they really did a good job against the Seahawks D in the first half. Garvin down low against O'Brien, has a real advantage down there. Little step back, no good. O'Brien, good board. Allows the Seahawks a chance to get out and push a little bit here.
Seahawks, the opportunity to narrow this thing just a little bit further. A little bit passive out of this timeout, but they're playing obviously the slow game. Get Samuels on the block against Walsh. Good look, and we're back to 15. Flames needing a bucket just to settle here. Good step-up screen by Garvin on Cox, and Cox earns herself a trip to the foul line.
Just looked like a lack of communication there from that Seahawks D in transition. Nice little punch screen from Garvin for Cox to attack Varco. And once Varco had to switch onto Cox, it was all over, and Cox gets the line, I believe, for the first time tonight as well for Michaela Cox.
Magella Carey coming in here and Garvin coming to the bench, so we've got Cox out there as a senior player now, needing to step up and just try and take control of this thing over the next 4 minutes. She makes her first and converts with the second.
It's still 100% on the season too, Michaela Cox, leading the league from the foul line.
So pressure from Walsh on the ball here. Kiriau just a little flustered by it, and they end up in some on-ball action. Showing the baseline and takes it. Battling in the post, we've got Varco and Carey. Hand off to Kiriau. Nice little up and under.
Baseline there.
Straight away, Flames back on the push, Andrews, and they've flooded the keyway back there with Samuel stopping.
And straight away they put him in rotations. Just that probe by Andrews, getting 2 feet in the paint, being able to drag. You see that Seahawks D trying to flood back and scramble and match up, but they're just in disarray in that transition when Andrews, Goodchild, Cox can get 2 feet in the paint in the early clock.
Now we've got Goodchild. You said it'd probably be a short stint. It was a little one on the sideline. She comes in for Andrews now. So find Fowler off the out of bounds. And swing through to a punch screen on the weak side for Cox. Carey stuck, kick out for Cox. Not quite converting.
Good job, Alex Fowler.
Fowler with the
offensive rebound, doing what she does best. But Walsh has it tipped away by Samuels from behind, and Seahawks now looking to run. Cox gets it back to the Flames, and she'll push it right back at the Seahawks defense.
Fowler with the high post catch, and you see Goodchild looking to attack Samuels there. Double team and their kick out. They've got to find the extra man here. Cox is the one open. Turns it down. Extra pass for Walsh in the corner.
Good look there for the Flames. Good job by Walsh to get an extra possession and the putback off her own miss.
Got the Seahawks into some rotation there, and there had to be a gap somewhere. They finally got it, and then got lucky on the O-board finish as well.
Wouldn't be surprised to see the Seahawks go back to that 1-3-1 maybe a little bit to finish this quarter. See if they can just change up their D, get some stops and generate some easy points to keep eating into this lead. Samuels takes a rest again for the Seahawks. Probably get a couple of minutes to play the whole fourth.
Ashley Zandy enters the game for the Seahawks. And the Flames into their turnout flare action again. Walsh gets the penetration baseline. Scrappy work from the Seahawks, and Goodchild ends up with the ball. Just can't convert that little simple stuff around the rim at the moment. The Seahawks out of jail. So we've got the one call here, so I imagine we're looking for the on ball on the wing with the turnout. Flames pressured up here though and pushing the Seahawks out of their offense where they want to go.
Shot clock down to 5 seconds as Varco just tips it back in. Straight to Kerry though. Goodchild can push.
Finds Walsh in the corner.
And
knocks down the two. Coach killer for St. Maurice. He would hate that long two there. He wanted Walsh to get her feet outside the three-point line. His hatred is that shot. So we see Allen going to work here on the wing. Curio onto the penetration, but the Flames Seahawks looking a little disorganised right now, but end up with a nice finish by Zandy over Goodchild.
Fowler doing a great job down low on that seal on a bigger Bridget O'Brien. Alex Fowler, for an undersized 4, finishes incredibly well around the rim. She just has this uncanny ability to find points at the rim and does a terrific job of finishing, and she's had a really good junior career for Townsville in Queensland and also Australia.
So we see O'Brien trying to operate out of the high post there.
Nice up and under.
Fowler comes up with the long O board and the Flames off running again here. Finds Goodchild on the wing, long on the 3.
That's a really good shot for the Flames. That's 2 feet in the paint with penetration to kick out 3 for Goodchild. I'm sure Mike St. Maurice would be happier with that miss than he was with the Walsh make on the long 2, which is crazy to think, but that's the kind of shots they want to generate.
Cox really upping the pressure on Zandy there on the sideline, on the halfway line. And we see subs rolling in here. Burgess coming back into the game with Newbold there. We see Bridget O'Brien going back to the bench. Samuel's still sitting at the moment with 18 seconds to go in the third quarter. Flames up by 19.
Nice footwork down there from Burgess. Good offensive rebound. And they eventually earn a trip to the line. Grace Varco will get to the line as she's fouled by Alex Fowler, who picks up her second personal.
So we've got these free throws with 9 seconds to go. Seahawks' ability to trim it back to that 17 that they were at before. Varco makes the first, and Flames will look for a real quick one here, and if it's not there, you'd imagine Cox will be working off the on-ball high late in this shot clock.
Absolutely. She's going to go quick. Watch Garvin set this punch screen here. Now Cox gets to attack the big.
Finds Goodchild, a little disorganised, launches a 3, and it's off.
Good quarter for the Seahawks there, I think. They cut a 23-point halftime lead back to 17, but I think it's the way that they played, not so much that the lead's not single figures, but a real lot of positives to take out of that quarter for the Seahawks. You know, they could have just rolled over and let the Flames run that thing out to 40 and, you know, start thinking about tomorrow, but they've really hung in there. Burgess has been good down low. Samuels has been efficient. They've keep winning that extra possession against this Flames defense, which I'm sure is going to be an area of concern for Mike St. Maurice in this three-quarter time huddle.
Well, that's only a 14-point quarter for the Flames there, so that's probably their lowest quarter I'd imagine they've had all season so far. So all those people and coaches from around the league tuning into this podcast or webcast, YouTube channel. They'll be picking up some tips from how the Seahawks are defending here on a little bit of a recipe to try and slow the Flames down.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Flames get a little bit of a tougher schedule after this weekend too. We've been able to sit at home and pick off a couple of wins early in the season with 3 home games to open up. But things get a lot harder. We go to Cairns next week, and then we've got the dreaded triple header to Brisbane, a Toowoomba, Southwest Metro, Gold Coast triple. So, you know, a lot of people have coined Southwest Metro as the best women's team in the QBL this year. And, you know, you look at the roster they've assembled, and it's probably a fair statement. So that's going to be a real test for the Flames on the road on the second night of a triple header in 2 weeks' time. So, you know, a good opportunity here to really iron out those kinks against what we're seeing is you know, a quality Seahawks team.
That road trip, they'll be missing Fowler as well. She'll be away at the last Sapphires camp, trying to push her way into a World Championship spot. So, you know, you're right. It's unusual to say that you've had a soft opening at home when you've had Mackay and Rocky to start at home, but it certainly has allowed Townsville to get their confidence at the start of the season by being on their own court.
And incidentally, Mackay playing in Rockhampton tonight, in probably one of the, I guess the old-fashioned grudge matches in the QBL. So, you know, there's plenty on the line down there. Every time Mackay plays Rocky, plenty on the line. But right now, the Cyclones handling business over the Meteorette, 72-56. I believe Rockhampton with a live stream on that one as well, but don't tune out of this one because there's still plenty of action to go.
See Goodchild looking to attack Samuels, plays good D at the top of the keyway there. Flooded on Cox for the double team, finds Goodchild, open for the 3. Just the start the Flames would have wanted there, just to tick that scoreboard over. See these matchups with Brennan starting up on the ball, then now Goodchild to it. So the more mobile group probably here for the Flames.
Seahawks got out of jail there with that being off Goodchild's foot. They got a little bit disorganised, and Flames did a good job of their disruption defensively there.
I think Garvin might have got away with a little kick at the ball on the pass to start off with.
Got a sneaky one there.
Yeah. So one-on-one on the post there as Harney looks to go over Goodchild, but unsuccessful. And off the Flames run, we're a 3-on-2 here. Samuels, again, makes the hard foul and is going to make Goodchild earn it from the foul line.
Really good result, though, for the Flames. Goodchild getting to the free throw line again. Gets a bonus, too, where she's an 80+% free throw shooter and gives the Flames a chance to set this full court extended pressure, really take the Seahawks out of their early offense, make them play long extended offense where the Flames get a chance to rebound and run at the back end of it.
So floor wipers just doing a little bit of cleaning up here to the ref's satisfaction before we go to these free throws. 20-point game here again now with the Flames looking to push it out a little further. I'd imagine we'll see the full court pressure set up straight out of this free throw here. Goodchild makes the second. And Walsh up at the ball. No, a little bit passive there from the Flames, a little bit more passive than expected. You see Samuels with Cox on the wing there, a matchup that I'm looking forward to looking at it training all year this year. We're seeing those two against each other. 2 missed there by Newbold, and Flames off running again, 3-on-3.
Oh,
nice crossover by Cox.
Good kick. I was impressive by Michaela Cox on the break there. Gave a little hesitation in and out to the cross and found Walsh wide open in the corner, but picked up the foul. So Flames will get it back from the end.
Samuels just overbalancing there on the quick crossover, and Cox stopped in front of us, so ends up with her 3rd foul now. But then comes up with the deflection off the out of bounds. Pulls up for the 3. Just the back of the rim there, and the Flames ball again.
Ambitious?
Look, game and time, you know, look, you're down by 21.
Yep.
You might as well have that shot and try and chase the game a little bit. Penetration by Walsh just straight through the middle of the lane there and finds Brennan at the elbow for 2. Flames double team, and Seahawks just really not handling this pressure right now. Fine Burgess under the rim. Just doesn't quite finish under the pressure, and Garvin comes up with the board. This game's starting to look a bit like a carbon copy of the first half right now, where we had the Seahawks come out and have a good first quarter and third quarter, and then the Flames running through the second quarter and have just opened up this gap again in the fourth, sorry.
Burgess down low again against Garbin's really attacking that matchup for the Seahawks. Just can't finish though. A little tie up here. And we got a timeout for the Seahawks. Rob Sleaford wants to talk it over. Mark, you just said it. It's like a carbon copy of the first half. Seahawks really hung tough and they won that third quarter 20-14. But, you know, the fourth quarter's just been all Flames so far.
Yeah, look, it's it's starting to ask those questions as well now. How long do you burn your players? You're down 23. It's probably fairly unrealistic that you're going to come out of this with a win. You know, but you don't want to just completely roll over either and
That's right.
and have down confidence going into tomorrow. So I'd imagine the next couple of minutes are going to be key to seeing how Coach Sleaford treats the rest of this game. Needs to make a little bit of a run just to get some confidence going back in through the group here. And you just expect now nothing different from the Flames. Is it's going to be full court pressure, trying to force turnovers, and then just trying to jam it down the Seahawks' throat whenever they're getting the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mike St. Maurice, you know, this group is going to be relentless. They're not going to take the foot off the gas and coast in here. You know, they're going to keep pushing. And like we saw against Mackay and Rockhampton, you know, a 20-point game in the end of the third quarter turns into a 40-point win. And, you know, last week against Rocky, they canter away with a 34-point win. So, look, it's there's some challenges here ahead for the Seahawks in this last 7.5 minutes, but let's see what kind of steely resolve they have, and can they, you know, grind this away, cut it to a respectable margin by the end of it. I'm just not sure the Seahawks have enough offensive firepower to really make a fist of this one, though.
So a little late getting the ball in. And now it ends up with Flames ball off a deflection. Cox finishes with the layup, and Samuels gets up a little bit ginger after that contest.
And here we go, Flames straight back into that full court pressure with Walsh and Cox up the floor, two of the fittest players in the QBL.
Cox just all over Harney there, and she's ended up throwing up a prayer, and Andrews comes away with the ball, looks for the early kick to Garbin. Trailer spot through from Brennan, another trailer coming through with Walsh.
And she'll get to the line after she's fouled by Harney.
Harney picking up her first foul there. And we see substitutions rolling in here for the Seahawks.
Ashley Zandy and Emily Allen checking back in the game. Samuels will take a seat. She's still very ginger after that. She come up limping there a little bit. Looks like she's done something to the ankle. Or maybe the calf, so that might be a bit of a concern for the Seahawks going in tomorrow night as well.
Yeah, look, if it's me, that's walking down the bench and saying to Casey, take your shoes off, get some ice on, and let's look after tomorrow night right now.
We see Ainsley Walsh at the line here, now in her 6th season in the QBL, I believe, and she's only 22 years old. You know, one of your former pupils, Robes, I believe a national champion from 2013.
Yeah, look, with the under-18 nationals in Brisbane, yeah, she's been in our Flame system for quite some time, and just, you know, continues to build the minutes and build her responsibility in this team each year.
And she's played a variety of roles to this group. She's been a starter. She's come off the bench. She's coming off in that second unit this year, and she just buys into whatever the team needs, which is great to see.
Right, she's played as an undersized 4. She's played as a 2.
You see Andrews trying to push, but deflected out of bounds by the Seahawks. Flames will get it back with another chance to attack.
You're wondering how much longer here we'll see some of the Flame stars out on the court, and whether St. Maurice might start pulling the plug on some of them as well. See Cox and Garbin working together off the wing there. Garbin on the short corner
nice
catch.
Attack. Should be at the foul line right now, but no call on that one. Over to Andrews, she'll shoot the 3. Burgess, good box out on Garbin, comes up with the board.
Kick ahead by the Seahawks, but Flames flooded back there and not allowing an easy score in transition. We see Allen working off the on-ball. Little right-hand floater pull-up is successful. But the Flames, here we go, 1-2 dribbles, not even 2 dribbles.
Nice job. Hayley Andrews following up. Great run by Lisa Brennan to get on the rim. Missed the layup, but that's the kind of pace they can play out with multiple players running the floor. Andrews gets another easy 2.
And you look at a veteran, we'll call Brennan a veteran out there at the moment. So
I believe she's just ticked over 30 this year, so she does fit in that category now.
Trying to play this pace game that the Flames are trying to play this year. You know, she's doing a great job right now, just you know, getting up and down, and she's got to go short stints, obviously, at this intensity.
I'd be playing three-point line to three-point line, which isn't too different to my career, but, you know, it's a shorter run back on D at least. Wild shot there from Grace George down low. Another extra possession for the Seahawks as Jansen misses a 2. Brennan can't secure it, but the Flames will keep the ball here.
You see George just grasping at her left ankle there with a little limp running back now as well, and this is certainly not what you want to see as a coach when you've got another game tomorrow. Oh, look, simple,
nice.
You know, simple UCLA cut there, no communication defensively, and Andrews ends up under the rim with an open layup.
I think that's a product of how much time some of these girls have spent in junior basketball together. Hayley Andrews and Harriet Carey played every second junior year together, so they've got a really good understanding out on the floor. Emily Allen hits another 2 off that high ball screen.
Yeah, just doing enough to keep the, like we are talking 26-point game right now, so it's keeping us interested enough, but the Flames looking like they're comfortably going to come away with this victory. Harriet Carey coming off the handoff there, pull up herself at the elbow.
Heat check.
But her sister Magella just rips it out of the hands, Garvin on the O board, and then foul on the ground. So substitutions coming in here. Alex Fowler coming in, and someone you're very familiar with, Greg, Beck Vandejat entering the game.
Well, Beck's come back to the QBL after 6 years in the wilderness. You know,
I think the last time she played, I was probably coach.
I believe that's probably correct, yeah. So, you know, talking to her after the round 2 win over Mackay, she said, I felt like a deer in headlights out there. The game was a lot faster than I remember it. So it was funny. I was talking to young Mila Goodchild this week, and it was Beck's birthday on Tuesday, and I said to Miller, it's, you know, my sister's birthday
Allen
today.
again, it was like a little runner too on the wing.
And Miller didn't even know Beck was my sister. So she got a little bit of an education on that one.
Didn't put that surname together.
Yeah, no, there's not too many Vandejats in Townsville. I think there's about 6 of us. So she knows now.
When there's only 6 of you in town, you'd think they're all shaken from the same family tree, wouldn't you? So 3 minutes 36 to go here with the Flames up 80-54. Allen continuing to try and get on her little run, a little bit quick off the release there, and ends up with Flames ball from the baseline. So just being slowed up a little bit here. We've got our turnover.
Takes it away from Harriet Carey.
Harriet doing a good job just to stay in front. Nice little dump pass from Curio, which leads for Hani to make the little 2-point basket there.
I really like what Hani's done for this Seahawks team tonight. She's only got the 4 points. She does have 4 offensive rebounds. You know, she's been everywhere. She's run the floor. She's played hard. She's done a really good job for her team tonight.
Another turnover force there by Andrews, just taking away the sideline and the ball being dribbled out. Andrews goes to the bench, and I imagine that's the last we'll see of her tonight, with Goodchild coming back into the game. We see Bridget O'Brien coming back in for the Seahawks, with Allen going to the bench as well.
Goodchild coming off a double screen away from the ball, back into high ball screen. She attacks the rim, finishes over Grace George with the left. That's a really nice move from Goodchild off that high pick and roll.
Those 2 players would have played a lot together with Queensland South programs, Grace and Mila.
Good D from Alex Fowler there against Hani, forces the miss. Vandejat with the box out on George, helps win possession for her team.
And George is just looking a little proppy there running, so now there's a little grab at the hamstring, so something's not quite right there.
And she's had some injury troubles as a junior as well, I believe. Missed a significant amount of time in her junior career with injury, so a few concerns for Rob Sleaford as they, hit the road jack to Cairns tomorrow night, as we see Harriet Carey miss the shot, but Magella Carey picks up the loose ball, pops it in for 2 more for the Flames. They've jumped out to a 28-point lead with just over 2 minutes to go.
I think knowing Harriet, she'll claim that was an assist to her big sister there. So Fowler just getting a little contested hand in there.
Varco's not happy here as Harney hits the floor.
And we've got Seahawks ball from the sideline here.
We've got some perspiration on the floor. We're not going to wipe it up. We're just going to get on with it.
Grace George attacking, Vantage out on the wing, just picking up a little foul and an armbar extension, and you see George grabbing that ankle again there. So she ain't quite right now, and I imagine we'll see her subbed out here now, and that'll bring Newbold coming in and probably having to take the free throws for her. No, she's staying in there.
Curiel checking out. I'm not sure if the Seahawks recognise that she's hurt, but she limps to the line. She might shoot these two and be straight out of the game here.
So no sub coming and waiting as yet.
George knocks down the first.
So we've got a good crowd building here at the moment, Greg, for the men's game. So should be almost full house tonight again, we would hope.
Yeah, look, it's been a terrific start to the year for us. We had a full house against Mackay. Not as packed last week against Rocky, but yeah, really happy with the crowd building tonight. Halftime of the women's game, our crowds have been really, really positive. So, looking forward to seeing all the bums on the seats come tip-off time in this men's game at 8:30.
So we saw Fowler there with a 2 and then almost a steal at halfway. Seahawks coming down and converting off the back of some scrappy play. Minute 35 to go here. The Flames up 86-59.
Good shot on the rip on the baseline. Little Euro step. Gets fouled by Harney, but she'll go to the line to shoot 2 more. Minute 27 left.
And the Flames really exploiting now the Seahawks chasing over the top of that flare screen.
Yep.
They're catching and ripping on the wing, and that helps really just not there from the weak side at the moment.
Yeah, makes it hard when the Flames can put 3 shooters on the other side of the floor. You got Harriet Carey in that third side corner. If her defender comes on that low help rotation, that's a kick out, and that's 3 more points for the Flames.
So Goodchild back to the line here in the last minute or so. Just extending the lead again out to, we're out to near 30 again now.
And Burgess back in the game as well for the Seahawks.
So we've got Bridget O'Brien here at the top, kicking through. And there Burgess finishing tight on the rim again.
I just saw Beck walk behind Burgess and disappear for a second there. She's about 1/3 of the size, so she's really got to work cut out for her down low, handling Burgess for this last 60 seconds.
Now Fowler with the ball at the top in an unusual position for herself. Handoff for Goodchild. Nice little stop and prop.
Rondo there in the keyway.
Little rondo.
Little show and step through move that she's been working on in individuals during the week. So nice to see transition and skills from her workouts into game situations.
So it might be the first time here for the season we see the Flames not get to the 100.
Yeah.
They might go, unless they go a little bit crazy here in this last 40 seconds.
No grilled burgers tonight for the Flames fans.
O'Brien steps out of bounds. Hang on, here we go. Let's see if we can come down and splash a quick 3.
10 points in 37 seconds. Oh.
Not going to do it with turnovers.
No. Good child advantage out, just not on the same page on that one.
Now we're off and running. 30 seconds to go here for the Flames. Good child slowing it down on the wing. Fowler looks like she's operating out of the 3 spot right now. Just a little short on that short corner jumper.
When in doubt, air it out. Alex Fowler with a long 2 that's going to have Mike St. Maurice with a couple more grey hairs at the end of this one.
And then a sloppy turnover.
Sloppy turnover from the Flames here.
So 4 seconds to go. Flames up 90-61. Flames going to a 3-0 start and staying on top of the QBL ladder, you would imagine.
Yep.
And the Seahawks now slipping to 2-3, heading into Cairns tomorrow night, and that game's probably going to become a really crucial one for them just to keep touch with that top 8.
Yeah, and Cairns and Seahawks are going to be two of those teams that are around that, 6, 7, 8 come the end of the season, I think.
Good job for 3 at the end of the clock. No good. And full time, the Townsville Flames win this one, 90-61.
Another impressive win for the Flames. Probably not as polished as their first 2 weeks. Maybe a little bit of complacency with the Seahawks coming to the north for the first time. May not have paid them the same respect that they gave to Mackay and Rockhampton in the first 2 weeks. But that's a good Seahawks team in their first season in the QBL. Rob Sleaford's done a good job of drilling his team and preparing them for the Flames. And, still a 29-point win for the Flames, but a lot of positives to take away for the Seahawks.
Yeah, look, and, I think Mike St. Maurice won't be completely unhappy with having a little bit of sloppy performance as well. Those first couple of weeks, the video sessions have probably been pretty clear-cut and plenty of positive to show and not enough negative to be able to do some teaching. So he'll be able to get some good teaching points out of this for next week. And so next week you said we're
in Cairns next week, so on the road against the Dolphins next Friday night, actually. So that'll be a good test for Flames. They may be down a couple of bodies as well. So
we'll see if we have a surprise Kayla George playing there.
We might have an American, or we might have Kayla George. We'll see what Money Mike has up his sleeve in Cairns for next Friday night.
And the Seahawks look very valiant effort tonight, I must say. I was very impressed with their first and third quarter performances. They're just caught out a little bit in that second and fourth quarter when it gets a bit tough against a very deep team. That it's going to be hard, and they'll learn from this first year in the QBL. It's a big step up from that SBL type program. We've seen that with their men's team so far, and we'll see if they can take that step up against the defending champions Heat. But I'd like to thank Greg Vanderjagt for joining us up here tonight. I know he's normally a busy man running around doing 1,000,001 things on game night.
It's nice. We've got such a great team here at Townsville Basketball. The first couple of home games have been crazy, but we've refined some processes, and the support that we have around the program is just incredible. So it allows me to do fun things like this with you, Mark, and hopefully I can get back up here some stage throughout the season as well.
Well, mate, you're the boss. You do the allocations up here, so I'm sure you've got that in your control. But we'll say goodbye from the furnace now for probably about the next 20 minutes or so. Coming up, I'll be joined, I'm sure, again by Mike St. Maurice in the Heat game. He loves getting up here.
I better send a bottle of red up here then.
There will be a bottle of red up here, I'm sure, for him. And we'll speak to you all soon and look forward to that broadcast of the Heat versus Seahawks men.